Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. How are you? Jamie here from the JMT Mind Gym. I've been very excited to drop this little YouTube video today. So excited. I've come in here on the weekend and am very energized and excited and enthusiastic to share this with you. It's on the topic of triggers. Triggers, when we get triggered, when we get activated, when something sets us off or someone sets us off, or we see something, hear something, feel something, read something, listen to something, and we get either heightened emotions, we start to ruminate or think about things in the past that set us off, generally leaving us feeling a lot more average than we were before we had that activation or that stimulus or stress or reminder that we heard, felt, smelt, seen, read. So I want to talk about a different perspective, a different point of view. I'm not here to make triggers wrong. I'm not here to challenge people. I am just here to offer a different perspective and a different point of view and something for you to consider. I will support my claims today with evidence through that of literature and some university-based evidence. And I hope you take it for what it is, just a little bit of information, a different point of view, and a different frame of reference. Now, my intention is to just make life feel a little better. There is nothing worse than cruising through your day enthusiastically, having a great time. It's all shits and giggles, and then something sets you off and fucking takes the jam right out of your jam donut and ruins the present moment, that beautiful present moment that you have. And sometimes this stuff can come from way back, and quite often it does. And it creeps up all through the ages of our life and just absolutely fucking dismantles right here and right now, which is not ideal. First things first, imagine if you replace the word trigger, I feel triggered, that really triggered me, with teacher. And what if I told you that there were blessings in the lessons? There's blessings in the lessons. What if I told you that? What if I encouraged you to ask yourself, when you feel triggered, that the very first thing you ask yourself is, what is this? What if you challenged your narrative or your thoughts and thought, what if this is not here to trigger me, but it's here to teach me? What if there are lessons to be learned? Don't get me wrong, I think there's a devil in every level, and some of these lessons can be a little bit more difficult to learn, but some of them are right there. The challenge that we have quite often is we get very conscious, very aware of the downside. So if somebody has some shit stuff happen to them in their life, a family member, a loved one's gone and ripped the carpet out from underneath their feet and betrayed them, or someone's spoken poorly about you, rubbished you out, or something's really set you off. We become consciously aware of the downsides. We become consciously aware of the cost of that perceived negative, that setback, that drawback. And what we are unconscious to is generally the positives, the opportunities, quite often the benefits, how it supports our life, what are some of the advantages, and probably most importantly, what are the lessons? But it's a willingness, right? It's having enough courage, having enough vulnerability to go, hold on a second, this is setting me off. What am I not learning here? What is there right now, right here for me to learn? What are the lessons? Old mate Galileo, magnifico, I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves. He's just a poor boy from a poor family, saving his life of his monstrosities. Galileo said, you can't teach a man anything. What you can do is you can guide him or her to find the answers and lessons within themselves. So all of the solutions to our heightened, activated, triggered experiences are within us. So if we look at, okay, so what are a couple of different types of triggers? What if we talk about that first? Sometimes it can be something that someone said. So someone could be, I worked with a group of professional hairdressers over the week, and quite often these individuals, a lot of them were struggling with criticism. Now, my very first go-to when it comes to criticism is 1, is it true? 2, is it from a qualified and trusted person? Now, if it is, that criticism becomes feedback. That's feedback. And as the NLP presupposition about mistakes and failure says that there is no such thing as mistakes or failure / criticism. There's only feedback. And a lot of this underpins what I'm about to talk about. Like if somebody's setting you off because they're attacking you about something, or they're accusing you of something, or they're blaming you for something, or they're judging you for something, or they're disliking you for something, or they're hating on you for something, that has more to do with them than it does with you. It's like what Mary says to Sarah about Jane says more about Mary than it does about Jane. But if we invert that, if I'm judging or I'm hating or I'm disliking somebody else and I'm verbalizing that or I'm pointing fingers and it's you and it's this, we got to be really careful. Because what you judge in others, we judge in ourselves. And from a biblical perspective, it is like, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Truth be known, there is not one human being on this planet that is without sin. So there's going to be no fucking stones being thrown anywhere, especially in glass houses. So quite often when something is setting us off, sometimes it's really important to ask ourselves, have I done that before in my life to the same degree? If I'm accusing somebody of something, have I done that before to the same degree? Where did I do it? When did I do it? Who was there? And a little bit of context. And what you'll often find is when other people are involved, it's very likely that we have done some of those same things. So sometimes that activation or that heightened emotional response that we get when we're triggered by others or we're triggering them, it's got more to do with us or more to do with them. And we get this little reciprocity happening, this same, the law of reciprocity. Just the same. The seer, the seen, the seeing is the same. The seer, the seeing, the seen is the same. Same. So sometimes that emotional response, if we take the time to practically go, hey, what's the lessons here? What this trigger, replace trigger with teacher. Now, let's just talk about triggers in general. When we are heightened by something, what's the blessing in the lesson? Now, having recently studied the neuroscience of motivation and emotion, and upon reading a number of great books, not directly on this topic, although a couple of them are, another couple of these books underscore a lot of what I'm talking about. I've mentioned Dr. John Demartini before. He speaks a lot about emotions as well being feedback mechanisms. If you take out the brain geography, you take out the neuroscience, you take out the neuropsychological lens that you can look at this stuff through, emotions are ultimately feedback mechanisms. They're here to bring us back to the middle. They're here to bring us back to the soul, back to the center, to the mean, to the meaning, to the source of unconditional love, the soul. So emotions, this energy and motion surges through our body to create feedback for us to take action, to move us from where we are to where we need to be. Now, there's a couple of great books. There's one, I think it was written in the 60s by Walter Cannon, Wisdom of the Body. Great book. Bit fucking heavy, but if you want to lean in and get involved, it's a great book. Another one, The Body Keeps the Score. Brilliant book. Now, I can't remember the author. Just give me 2 seconds. It's like Bessel van der Kolk, I think. And that's The Body Keeps the Score. That's a great book. And then we've got another interesting, more spiritual, less psychological sciences, behavioral sciences viewpoint of The Shadow Effect by Deepak Chopra and Debbie Ford. Again, another like a great YouTube documentary called The Shadow Effect. So I'd encourage you to either one, have a look through the literature, the books, or two, have a watch of that doco, because it supports emotions being feedback mechanisms. Emotions are there for us to take that feedback, to learn from it. Because if I'm really angry, if something set me off, and I'm really angry and I'm agitated, I'm frustrated, I am consciously aware of the aggravation, the frustration, and the anger. I am unconscious. So if we think about the polarity, the opposite of anger is love. So if somebody's making me angry, which they can't, but just for the purposes of this video, if I'm getting angry because I'm perceiving something that somebody said, somebody's done, and it's making me angry, if I can catch it and become consciously aware of it, I can look for all of the ways that I am not seeing love. Like, where is love in this moment? Where is love in this person? Now, if you think of spouses and children and things like that, like, where's the love here? Because I'm consciously aware of what's pissed me off. I'm fucking ropeable about that. But I've forgotten all the things that I unconditionally love about this person. And I can even really look in that moment in great detail. What's to love about this moment? And if anger's over here and love is over here, if I can start to cognitively, practically, methodically and pragmatically ask these quality questions, I start to move myself back into the middle, back into the source of unconditional love, and I can make better decisions. I can be more resilient. I can be more adaptable. I can be more caring. I can be more empathetic and understanding. So emotions, they give us feedback, and sometimes it's that simple. If I'm really fucking sad and I'm really like nonchalant or got melancholy or just got an overwhelming sense of fucking sadness, sometimes it is as simple as like, right, what is that? What's the opposite of sadness? Happiness. So I can look at that and go, well, what's in my life that makes me happy? Where is happiness right now in my body? Where is happiness in my environment? What the fuck is going to make me happy? And keep stacking that happy shit up until I've got layers of fucking happiness and a little less fuck all sadness. Like, how good is that? And it's just using emotions. This is what emotional intelligence is. Emotional intelligence is defined by our ability to solve problems with our emotions. Sometimes it's hard to describe emotions, and I'm very respectful of that. Some people are not great at summarizing how they're feeling, but essentially do the best you can. Think the opposite of what that emotion might be. Now, let's pivot to actual triggers of events. So we've had an event in our past. We've got a stress, a stimulant, you could have had a stimulant, but a stimulus, and we've got some historic stuff there. Now that's been brought up by our senses, we've filtered, we've started to ruminate, and we've started to think about it, then we're going to feel about it, then we're going to start acting about it. So this is kind of the fundamental premise of some of our experiences with PTSD. Now again, what I'm about to mention is not a substitute for some clinical work or leaning into some psychological services and sciences or even counseling, remember, it's just a point of view and just a perspective. So if I am now, something has set me off and I'm ruminating, I'm thinking about it. Now that's going to directly impact and influence my feelings. And therefore I'm going to start talking, or my physiology, my body language, or my actions is going to start reflecting that those thoughts, that traumatic stuff that's resurfaced. Now there's a great lot of research, excuse me, a great body of research from Richards and I think it's Lawrence Calhoun. And they've done a lot of research on, excuse me, post-traumatic growth. So those that look at some of these experiences that they have had in their past, whatever that might be, and we start asking those questions. We start asking, well, what was the benefits of this in my life? What were some of the opportunities that I've garnished, that I've gained in my life as a byproduct of the fuckery? Now, it's not excusing people's fucked behavior. Like if you're a shit human being and you fucking done things to hurt people, it's not excusing that. What it is doing is giving us as individuals the governance back, giving our agency back, lowering what we call the valence. So emotion can have valence attached to it, basically positive or negative. If I'm really angry, that anger can be on a scale of 1 to 10. 10, I'm fucking, my hair's on fire and I've gassed my eyeballs. 1, I'm just starting to get a bit dissatisfied. If I'm ecstatic and joyous and all loved up, that can be a 1. Then I'm kind of like, my heart just maybe jumped, flooded a little, spurted a little bit. Or a 10, I'm getting on a plane at 2 o'clock in the morning because I've fucking fallen in love and I'm flying to Uganda. So we've got scales of 1 to 10, and that emotional valence, that is a valency, it's a charge. So if we've got that about something, sometimes the emotion hooks barbs into us and it sort of traps us in it. And so practically, a lot of this study is based around the fact of unpacking these significant traumatic or emotional events, and in great depth, asking what are the lessons here? What can I learn from this? How does this benefit the physical part of my life? How does this benefit the psychological part of my life? How does this benefit me spiritually? What are the opportunities to the vocational side of my life? What are the advantages to the financial side of my life? What are the benefits to the social side of my life? And it's a willingness, right? It's a willingness, and it's a real fucking inner strength, and it's a real courage, and it's a real act of vulnerability to go, you know what? This happened 20 years ago and it was fucked. But if we can reflect and we look back and go, okay, what have I learned from this? What are the lessons here? And couple that with the benefits. Couple that with looking for how this has positively impact your life. And what tends to happen is we start to get balance. Again, it's not letting some people off the hook. No, some people need to be processed through a justice system. That's what the justice system's there for, to bring things back to balance. But I'm talking about a perspective and a point of view that might bring us peace. We might get to see the order, the symmetry, the balance, the harmony, the alignment, the congruence in life, and know that this has all happened for a reason. And now we get to infer that reason. Well, what's the meaning I give this? Am I going to be a victim of this fucking shit? Am I going to feel like this shit every time something bubbles up and reminds me of it? Or am I going to take action, ownership, governance, and agency, and very lovingly start to unpack lessons and benefits? Team, I hope that's been helpful today. Ultimately, let's turn triggers into teachers. If you find this helpful or useful, or you want to add some comments to it, please do. Please share it with some friends that might be struggling a little bit. But know that it comes with a caveat and it comes with a little disclaimer. It's not a substitute for actual internal work. But know this, life is fucking short. It is so short. And it's not worth going through life being impacted by some fuckery of our past when we can grab it, we can get some control back, we can work on it, and we can move forward in the future being all that we can be and the best that we can be. Thank you for listening.